Yes, Rasco and Disco beer review with me, Disco, coming at you with another beer video from in front of the cans and bottles on a bar that I'm still deliriously calling the Disco Arms. This video is 3 years in the making, sort of, somewhat accidentally. Follows on from the video I did last month. That was 2 years in the making of this beer here, the Metric Tonics collab between Glen Affric Brewery and was from the Craft Beer channel. It was an Imperial Stout. I didn't mean to let it go 2 years. They said it would be perfectly okay in the can to leave for a bit, so I let it do its thing in the can. Accidentally did it for 2 years, didn't mean to do it that long. If you haven't seen that review, link's coming up at the end. This beer has been in my stash for probably 2.5 years. It was given to me just before lockdown, and I sort of didn't really know what to do with it. It's a very recognisable bottle. It's a Pink Elephant of Delirium Tremens from Brouwerij, Huyghe, I think it's pronounced. Belgian beer. It's probably very recognisable to everybody. It's an 8.5% Belgian strong ale. Now, it's fair to say, this is not a beer I drink regularly, despite how ubiquitous it is, how well known it is. It's not one I pick up very often. Everybody knows about Delirium Tremens. I say this is 3 years old. This is only my assumption, being that it's been in my stash for 2.5 years. The best before date on it is May 2022, this year. So it sat in my stash for a while. So I'm assuming it must have been around, it was given to me, so it must have been around a few months before that. I'm backing this up by the fact that I went out and bought a fresh bottle the other day. As you can see, perfectly exactly the same. Apart from the date on that, it's 2025. So assuming that's been probably sitting around on the supermarket shelves for a while. We're talking 3 years old. So as I say, I don't necessarily know what this beer tastes like. I must have had it at some point along the beer journey. I certainly have never reviewed it on the channel. I don't think Rasco has either, but it's just always been around as far as I recall. So I don't really know what it tastes like strongly. I can't strongly recollect the flavour or the taste. So maybe starting with a 3-year-old version isn't the best. I should reacquaint myself. But it's what I'm here to do on this video. Might have a little comparison afterwards with the other one, but drinking 2 and 8.5% strong ales in an afternoon is probably not a good idea. Not that that's ever stopped me in the past. So without further ado, let's get into a glass and see what a 3-year-old bottle of Delirium Tremens tastes like. Yeah, hold on a second there, past Disco. Future Disco here doing the edits. I've just noticed something. In my never-ending and often failing quest at perfection and noticing details, I can't help but notice these beers on a label just say Delirium Belgian Strong Beer. Nothing about Tremens anywhere on the bottle. So I'm a little confused, which isn't difficult to do, I admit. But like past Disco says, I know very little about this beer for something so well known and ubiquitous. So I'm having a look around, obviously on the Internet of Things, to try and clarify this. Well, firstly, I keep getting results from medical websites, and here's something I also didn't know or had forgotten. Delirium tremens is the medical name for the DTs, the kind of convulsions and shaking you get when you suddenly withdraw alcohol, usually when alcohol dependent. Which is a weird thing to name a beer, but I can see the connection. Anyway, Googling around to find out what is delirium tremens, I seem to have encountered a fair bit of confusion. Here, for example, on beermerchants.com, fairly well-known, respected online bottle shop, they call it Delirium Tremens, and they've got the same beer that I have here, so I'm assuming it is the same thing. Also, note down the bottom there, they do help to explain things further by saying Brouwerij Huyghe, best known for its strong ale Delirium Tremens, which is so omnipresent that people think it is the name of the brewery, not the beer. Well, I'm guilty of charge of that too. So I think that clears it up. It is the same beer, just with a different label. Maybe it's just different for the UK market. But what doesn't help is proliferation of other different sites around the internet calling it different things. Even here, Tesco's website, where I actually picked the beer up from in one of their shops, they call it Delirium Blonde Belgian Ale and have a picture of a completely different label that just says Delirium. Beer 52, on the other hand, call it Delirium Tremens Triple. Although not currently for sale on their website, but they also have a bottle of Delirium, like this. To be fair, it does say on the back of the bottle triple fermentation, so that must be the case. Huyghe's own website for it, called delirium.be, is for me no less confusing because, again, calls it Delirium Tremens, and actually features a photo of a bottle with Delirium Tremens on it. This bottle's not on their website at all. Also, they have a beer called Delirium Blonde, which is a barrel-aged beer. So what I'm assuming is this is just a different bottle label and description just for the UK market. I'm sure there's people out there that know more about this beer and beer in general than me, so do let me know either in comments below or separately. Is this just a UK version of the label for Delirium Tremens, and I am actually drinking Delirium Tremens, even though it doesn't say Tremens on the label? I'd like to know, because I'm a little confused. So in the interest of always learning, do let us know. Anyway, back to past disco now, for the point of this video. The actual beer review of a 3-year-old Delirium. So without further ado, let's just get it in a glass and see what a 3-year-old bottle of Delirium Tremens tastes like. I'm glad it didn't go everywhere, at least. Well, it looks the part. Now, I haven't necessarily poured that well. I'm probably not even using the right glass, but a Belgian glass will be kind of bowl-shaped. I'm using my Brouwerij Tisca glass, matching the t-shirt. I'm aware of the irony, or, well, I'm aware of the detail of wearing a Czech beer t-shirt to do a Belgian beer review, but I haven't got any Belgian beer t-shirt, so this is kind of the closest I can get. But it sure looks the part. It is, very definitely. A nice golden colour, orange notes. Still plenty of carbonation rising up that glass. There's still quite a fresh aroma on it. Still a little bit of maybe grassiness. Again, I say still because until I open that one, I'm probably going to open that one, and I'm not quite sure of the difference, but there is definitely a very fresh, crisp aroma to it. Nothing particularly hoppy. Doesn't necessarily smell very strong, but it's got a perfectly pleasant aroma. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers. Oh, wow. Well, I can see if that's the same as it is fresh, why it's considered, or rather so well considered, a beer. It's got that fairly typical Belgian ale taste. It's like fruitiness, it's like banana-y, the kind of flavour going on. Very smooth, nicely carbonated, not too much roughness around the edges. Great banana flavour flowing through it if you like that sort of thing, and I very much do. Not too much on the spiciness or herbs or cloves, but a very for a beer that's been in my fridge for the best part of 2 years and kept cool before that, and before that I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's held up pretty well. It's a very, very drinkable beer. can't really pick out the 8.5% at all. It's making me go back, see what else I can pick up on it. There's still quality there, still drinkability, still good flavors. I was expecting something maybe a little bit hoppier. Like I say, I haven't had this beer for a long time, but I'm sort of getting vague memories of it now. I seem to recall it maybe being a bit bolder, a bit brusque, a bit more brusque, a bit more, like I say, hopness that's got this kind of roughness around the edges, but it's not. It's perfectly smooth, perfectly crisp. Don't quite know what I expected for a 3-year-old beer. I say they put a long best before date on it because they probably know it's going to hold up pretty well, and it has. There's nothing. I can't pick out anything negative by that. I could pint that, I think. Don't know how many of them could I have, but it doesn't feel like 8.5%. What I should do is sip that really slowly and come back to you. But I'm not sure I am. I'm now intrigued to find out if there is any difference over 2.5, 3 years. But this is just a really nice drink. It is really, genuinely, really nice. Okay, I want to know what, if there's any difference now. So I'm going to open the second bottle. Bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so quick palate cleanse. That's nice. So this is a bottle I bought last week from the supermarket. See, the date on it is 2025. So I'm going to get this into a glass and see if I can get any differences. 8.5% beers of an afternoon. Wow, okay. So definitely a lot more carbonation, that one for a start. Oh, I nearly messed that up, didn't I? Put that there just out of the way. Just want to have a quick look. So yeah, a lot more carbonation going on there, which I guess is to be expected. Very similar colour. Looks much lighter to the naked eye than on the amber colour on the screen there, but pretty similar. Pretty similar. Just a lot more carbonation going off in that one, as you said, by the fact that I nearly messed up that pour. But I've seen perfect pour videos of this beer this afternoon, and well, that's kind of how they pour it. So who am I to argue? Okay, unbelievably, there is a much fresher, much crisper aroma, and believe me, that was fresh and crisp as far as I could smell. Maybe a little bit more kind of greener grassiness going on. That banana ester aroma comes through a little bit more. Cheers. Okay, there is a difference. There is a difference. Just with that extra carbonation, it's there's no difference in flavour so much or taste. Just that carbonation brings it up a little. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit sparklier. Whereas this one, I would say, is a little bit more mellow, maybe a little bit more rounded, a little bit more. The flavors are a bit more noticeable almost, because this one is a little bit, like I say, a little bit brighter and a little bit bubblier. So it tasted more of the carbonation and that kind of banana ester flavor. There's a bit more edge to it. There's a bit more. There's a touch more hoppiness to it, but not a lot. Touch more lemon, maybe. There's a slight citrus note to it, but it's generally much more noticeable carbonation. I think maybe that's because I've seen the carbonation, but it just tastes a bit fresher, a bit almost thinner, I think is the word. But in terms of flavors and quality, there is no loss for a beer that's been sitting in the bottle for 2 years. Well, 3, I guess. I almost prefer this one, I think, because it's slightly flatter. Still got that creamy head going on. Still got those alcohol legs on the side of the glass. Still got plenty of carbonation. It's not flat. Slightly more, I think, on the banana flavor going on. I think there's a slight difference maybe in the light that filled them both up at the same. Yeah, that one's slightly darker, maybe, but in the naked eye, they look pretty much the same. Either way, I'd struggle to notice the difference. There is a slight difference, kind of as I remember, and I'm really kind of pleased about just how good that beer is. It's really nice, really drinkable, kind of refreshing. Lovely, lovely drop of Belgian strong ale. Doesn't even taste that strong as far as I'm concerned. Might be by the time I've got down the bottom of these. So I'm going to sit back and sip this slowly for the rest of the afternoon. I hope I've done it justice. I hope I've explained it well enough. That's what a 3-year-old bottle Delirium Tremens tastes like. Cheers. Until the next one, enjoy the beers.